Welcome to the Popish plot. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Nate.
And today is Saintly Sunday. And today's plot is Judas. But the good one.
Oh, okay. That's right. It's time for us to discuss another one of the show's patron saints. And this time we have chosen to go with Saint Jude, aka Saint Jude Thaddeus. Saint Jude, the brother of James the Lesser. Jude the Apostle. And his actual real name was Judas, but we changed his name so that we wouldn't confuse him with the Iscariot.
Yes, according to one legend, St. Jude is the patron saint of lost causes, desperate situations, and the impossible. Just because he was so very desperate himself to have anyone pray to him for help, as no one would, because they were afraid they'd accidentally pray to the other Judas, who we can all agree is not a saint.
No. That's because all good Catholics and half of good Protestants get all their info on hell and the afterlife from Dante's Inferno.
Well, it was very informative and fun, and, hell did freeze over in parts of it.
Yeah.
Plus, there's not actually that much in the Bible if you think about it. I mean, for both hell and heaven, it's very vague. Hell, you got unending torture that might be physical, it might be spiritual,
it might be both.
Yeah, there's fire metaphors, and then on the other side you got, this is so wonderful, but it's impossible to explain, and there are some really weird building materials.
Wailing and gnashing of teeth might just be a way of describing sitting on a plane next to a crying baby on a transcontinental flight in coach.
Yes, but we already discussed that was what they had for hell. I mean, it's kind of redundant.
Yeah, all right. Hell, but not as interesting as hell as it is in the Inferno. But back to Saint, not the guy who betrayed Jesus, there just aren't a lot of names in the Bible.
Yeah, and in the New Testament, because of the fact that they were, Jews and Roman citizens, the few names they have, everyone has like 2 or 3 names for the guys.
They're hogging them all.
I know. I mean, like, the women get stuck with 3 possible name choices here.
And the guys have got, like, all of them.
Anyway, I would like to add that St. Jude became the patron saint of the hopeless and desperate, possibly because of vision of St. Bridget of Sweden. Now, this is not the St. Bridget of Lake of Beer fame.
Aww.
I'm sure sometime we'll talk about St. Bridget of Lake of Beer fame.
Perhaps on a Fermentation Friday.
Possibly. Or around St. Patrick's Day. They were friends,
yeah.
according to legend. But given how she wasn't known for turning water into beer, she's probably the more reliable of the St. Bridgets.
Fair, yeah. So, besides being so desperate that he actually prayed, they actually, appeared to other saints in order to ask them to pray to him for help. What else is he the patron saint of?
Well, using a advanced technology called, a Google search, I found out that he is the patron saint of St. Petersburg, Florida, which, before you say anything, after our St. Francis episode, I checked that, and unsurprising, St. Petersburg is named after a Peter, and is not some weird translation of Judas.
Alright, fair enough, but realistically, as a patron saint of lost causes and the desperate, shouldn't he be patron saint of all of Florida?
I would think so. I didn't check to see who that was, but, if Florida's looking for a guy, I would suggest St. Jude.
Absolutely. You can't go wrong with St. Jude.
Mm-hmm. He's also the patron saint of the Chicago Police.
Once again, we are looking for things other than lost causes.
Alright, well, there is some Brazilian football team that he's apparently the patron of.
Okay, so apparently St. Jude is the patron saint of lost causes.
Well, why did you think he was our new patron? This show kind of falls under his expertise.
Okay, that touche. You got me there. So, do you have some action figure from the TV show Lost dressed up so that you can go and use it to represent St. Jude?
No, I do not. One, that show hasn't been on for 4 or 5 years now?
Oh, probably more than that, but yeah.
Yeah. So, there's not a lot of options, even looking online. And I couldn't figure figure out who he would be, because if you want to just look at, like, Amazon, you could have Hurley, which already comes with a robe, so that there's a plus, but, you know, he doesn't look like anything I've seen of St. Jude.
Fair.
And then there's Sawyer, which, you know, again, you don't want the, you know, kind of rogue character to be dressed up as your saint.
No.
At least not for this one. And also, we know what he looks like. See, look, see, this is one representation. Of course, there are a few because, you know, you didn't wear the same thing and dress the same way every day. But he either has a medallion or a scroll. It's got the image of Christ on it because apparently that is what you use to heal leper kings.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Also, the scroll might be part of a Bible. It depends. He has a tongue of flame on his head, so that way we remember he was at Pentecost, because he was at Pentecost. And if his hands aren't filled with everything else, he either has an axe or a club, so we can all remember how he died. Plus, he might be in a boat. Today he's not in a boat. It was apparently a non-boat day when they filmed this one. But we all know he likes the color green a lot.
I think that what you're referring to here is that these are his symbols or the items that are used to represent him in iconography. Because, let's be honest, if the real St. Jude was always known for carrying around a scroll with his hair on fire in a boat with an axe while wearing bling, we probably wouldn't have started this show off by announcing that we are discussing Saint, not the other Judas who sold out God for 30 pieces of silver.
Probably. But, well, what you described, if you threw some skulls or a wing thing on it, you'd have a cover for a Judas Priest album. So maybe the heavy metal band picked Judas Priest as their name because St. Judas was a priest.
From what I understand, they actually picked their name from a Bob Dylan song. And before you go there, the axe in the iconography is in fact a real, ordinary, cutting things axe, not a euphemism for a guitar.
Alright. I know I said it was part of what martyred him, but I have it on good authority that you can kill a boy with a fender. However, that is no way to treat an expensive musical instrument.
Okay, and on that note, I think this will be where we wrap up the show before you waste what little youth I have left.
You know, if they did the math in our episode 1 on Fatima, they can calculate about how much that is. Well, I said how old I was.
Okay.
I didn't say how much older you were, but you know, it's a rough idea.
Fair enough, okay.
But anyway, that's why St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes, is our newest patron saint on the Popish plot. Make sure you click the like button below for liking the good Judas, not the bad one, the good Judas.
Good Judas.
And comment below with your favorite weird symbol for a saint. Your saint might be featured on a future episode, or not. There are a lot of different saints, and quite honest, the statistics probability isn't all that good unless you have a really great thing to talk about.
Sure.
But still.
And useless bonus points to the first person out there to respond in the comment section below with the saint, with the patron saint for mathematicians or gamblers. And yes, before you ask, there is a patron saint for both. And no, it is not the same patron saint. And on that note, remember, live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.